All right, let's get right into it. In just the next few minutes, we are going to completely change the way you talk to AI. Seriously, we're going to move you from just, crossing your fingers and hoping for a good answer to actually engineering a great one every single time. So yeah, let's dive in.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You ask the AI for something, and what you get back is vague, totally unhelpful, or sometimes just plain wrong. It's so frustrating. It makes you think, are these tools really all they're cracked up to be? But here's the good news, and this is a big deal. It's not the AI's fault. It's a communication problem, and we can fix that.
Really, this whole thing boils down to two completely different mindsets. On one hand, you've got what I call the AI magic mindset. This is where most people start. You kind of just throw a vague idea out there and hope for the best, right? But the people who get incredible results, they operate from an AI engineering mindset. They know, deep down, that precision and super clear instructions are the only way to get a quality result.
And this right here, this is the key. You've got to think of your AI as a brilliant but very literal contractor. I mean, this contractor is a genius, super capable, but they know absolutely nothing about your project, your goals, your specific tone. So if you hand them a sloppy sketch on a napkin, well, you're going to get a sloppy house. But if you give them a detailed, professional blueprint, they will build exactly what you had in your mind.
Okay, so how do we actually build that perfect blueprint? Well, we start by understanding what a great prompt is even made of, its anatomy. Think of this as your diagnostic framework. From now on, when a prompt gives you a bad result, you're not going to get frustrated. You're going to use this framework to figure out exactly what was missing. All right, let's actually diagnose a super common failure. Somebody types in, "Write an email." That's it. Seems simple enough, right? A direct request. What could possibly go wrong? As it turns out, pretty much everything.
And no surprise here, what you get back is a totally generic email about nothing specific to no one in particular. It's useless. But listen, this isn't a failure of the AI's intelligence. This is a failure of our instructions. The contractor did exactly what we asked, but we didn't ask for nearly enough detail.
So, this brings us to the crucial part, this 5-part anatomy. I want you to think of these as the 5 essential ingredients for any high-quality instruction you give an AI. You've got role, context, task, format, and constraints. Now, you won't always need every single one, but just knowing they exist is the secret to diagnosing and fixing any broken prompt. Okay, let's go back to our sad little prompt, write an email, and let's rebuild it step by step. First thing we're going to do is add a role. We're telling the AI who it should be. You are a senior account manager. Boom. Just like that, it has a perspective, a specific level of expertise, and a professional voice. Next up, we give it context. This is all the background info, the who, what, and why of the whole situation. Without context, the AI is just flying blind. It's just guessing. But when you give it context, it actually understands the scenario and who it's talking to. Okay, now for the task and the format. This is where we get super specific. We're not just saying write an email anymore. No, we're saying write a welcome email, and then we're telling it exactly how to structure it. A greeting, 3 next steps, and a call to action. See, this completely gets rid of the randomness and gives us a predictable, organized result. And finally, the last layer of control, constraints. Think of these as the guardrails or the rules of the game. Things like word count, tone, style, even things you wanted to avoid. This is how you really fine-tune the output so it matches your exact needs. And there it is. Just look at the difference. We went from that lazy, vague, write an email, to this, a detailed, engineered set of instructions. By using this 5-part anatomy, we've built a prompt that isn't a gamble. It's a blueprint that will deliver a specific, high-quality result reliably every single time. All right, so now you have the diagnostic framework. Let's start filling up your toolkit. I'm going to show you 4 core techniques that, honestly, will cover about 80% of everything you'll ever need to do with an AI. These are the big ones. First up is something called zero-shot prompting. And this is probably what you're already doing. It's just a direct command with no examples. It's actually perfect for simple, common tasks. The key here isn't to stop doing it, it's to make your direct instruction super specific. Something like, summarize this article in 3 bullet points for someone who isn't a tech expert. That's a great zero-shot prompt. But what happens when you need a very, very specific style or tone? That's when you use few-shot prompting. This is a game changer. Instead of trying to describe the style you want, you just show the AI 2 to 5 examples of it. It's exactly like training a new person on your team. You wouldn't just talk about good work, you'd show them examples of it, right? Same idea.
And check this out. It's like night and day. On the left, you've got that generic zero-shot prompt, and you get a totally bland generic output. Yawn. But look at the right. When we give it a few-shot prompt with examples, the result perfectly matches the tone and style we were going for. I'm telling you, this is the secret weapon for getting consistent, on-brand content.
Okay, next up is a really cool one for complex problems. It's called chain of thought prompting. Have you ever seen an AI give you an answer that's super confident, but just completely wrong? It usually happens because it rushed to a conclusion. This technique basically forces the AI to slow down, think step by step, and show its work. And that dramatically cuts down on mistakes in any kind of reasoning task.
So, for example, instead of a simple question like, should we enter this new market, you'd use chain of thought to break the problem down for it. You'd tell it, first, identify the likely causes for the current market trends. Second, list the data you'd need to confirm those ideas. Third, propose 3 strategic actions, and only then, at the very end, deliver a final, reasoned recommendation. By forcing this logical process, you're going to get a way more robust and reliable analysis.
And the last one in our toolkit is role prompting, which we already touched on a bit, but it's so important it deserves its own spot. Assigning a persona or a role to the AI is one of the most powerful things you can do. It's not just about changing the tone, it literally changes the entire lens the AI uses to look at a problem.
I mean, this example says it all. You ask the exact same question, but you get 3 completely different answers just by changing the role. Ask it as a cautious CFO, and it's all about burn rate and market stability. Tell it to be an aggressive VC, and suddenly it's talking about market capture and growth velocity. And then you have the default AI, which just gives you a boring list of pros and cons. Just by changing one single line, the role, you've reframed the entire analysis.
Okay, so you've got the framework for diagnosis, and you've got the core toolkit. But the final piece, the thing that ties it all together, it's not another technique. It's a mindset. Because true mastery here comes from one thing: practice and iteration.
I want you to think of this as your go-to cheat sheet. Seriously. On the left, you've got the 5-part anatomy for building and diagnosing. In the middle, your 4 core techniques. And on the right, and this part is so important, you have an iteration checklist. The next time a prompt doesn't work, don't just give up. Come back to this and ask yourself these questions. Was my task specific enough? Was I missing some context? This is how you systematically get better.
And you know, this really is the secret. The best prompters out there aren't the people who've memorized 1,000 tricks. They're the ones who are just relentlessly curious. They see a bad output not as a failure, but as a clue, a puzzle to solve. They tweak things, they refine, and they learn something valuable from every single interaction, good or bad.
So that's it. You now have the complete foundation. You've got the right mindset, you've got the diagnostic framework, and you've got the core tools. You know how to stop hoping and start engineering. The only variable left, the only thing separating you from true mastery, is practice. So go on. Pick a task, build a prompt, and see what you can create.